Hi tribe, welcome back to my channel. So today tribe, I want to talk about the 7 financial commandments every adult should try. Even if it's not all 7 of them, at least you should aim to have 3 or 4 or 5 of them going on in your life, okay? So I'm going to be reading from my notes that Pen made me. This is her handwriting, not mine. My handwriting sucks, by the way. So the first one is, I shall not get into silly debt, all right? And in this video, I'm not trying to describe the difference between good or bad debt. I want to specifically talk about bad debt or silly debt, as I call it in this video. This, I'm talking about credit card debt that you cannot pay off on time. I'm talking about overdraft. I'm talking about stored clothing accounts. I'm talking about personal loans that have a high interest rate. So try by all means not to get into that type of debt because it costs a lot of money. Why? Because of the high interest rate that is associated with that type of silly debt. Number 1. Number 2, I shall budget and live within my means. Yes, I know on this channel I always talk about budgeting, and for some people it sounds boring, and for some people they just think to themselves, goodness, I've tried this and it doesn't work. Remember on my last video I told you about the 4 budgeting methods. Go check that out. You need to budget because by budgeting you know exactly where your money is going, and by budgeting you're actually telling your money where to go. And the most important one, live within your means. Where do I start with this one? I think this is actually the cornerstone of personal finance. I cannot say anything more about personal finance. If people practice this, we would have way less people who are financially stressed, financially guilty and ashamed, all right? If you live within your means, and what does it mean to live within your means, right? Because sometimes I think as personal finance experts, we say these things, but what does that look like in real life? Living within your means, and you know I like making simple examples. If you earn 5,000, act like you earn 4,000. Then the rest you need to save and invest. Okay? So meaning that if you live within your means, you are spending 4,000. So that should be everything you need, everything you want, but also making sure that your debit orders go off of that. And that's it. Then the 1,000 rand that you're acting like you don't earn, you make sure that you save and invest, which is going to bring me to my other point here, all right? But before I get to that, the 3rd commandment, I shall build an emergency fund. Have an emergency fund. We've spoken about this many times. An emergency fund, and I want to put a disclaimer on this one. With an emergency fund, I know most experts tell you that you should have 6 months, you should have 12 months. That's good and well, but if you are someone who has never ever in your life saved 1,000 rand by the end of the month, that sounds ridiculous. That just sounds like, you know what, I'm just gonna switch this thing off. I'm gonna watch, some gossip channel because it doesn't relate to me. So for me, when it comes to an emergency fund, save what you can. If you have never saved anything in your life as part of an emergency fund, say to yourself for the first time, I am going to start my emergency fund and make whatever amount that suits you. If it's 1,000 bucks, kudos. That's 1,000 bucks that you've never had in an emergency fund before. If it's 5,000, kudos to you. Do that. But the aim is that you'd eventually get to 6 months, 3 months, 6 months, or even a year. And once you start building that, whatever that amount is for you, so let's call it 5,000. That's the first time you have 5,000 rand and you have earmarked it for an emergency fund. You feel good about yourself. You feel like, goodness, I've done this. I've been able to achieve this. So clearly, maybe all these financial experts are talking about something. I've been able to save 5,000. Then at the end of whatever month, I will be able to save 10,000. Then you can say, okay, now I have 3 months. Now I have 6 months. But remember, start with what you can. That's the most important thing, all right? So that is number 3. Number 4 of the financial commandments that you should try and follow is you should save and invest for your future. So remember on the second point I said, live within your means. So that 1,000 rand, this is where you should say, okay, I'm going to start saving for my emergency fund. I'm going to start saving or investing for my future. Because I don't want to talk about the bad stuff. I think when we talk about emergency or your future, we always think about, the worst thing that can happen. But think about it this way. For me personally, when I think about my emergency fund or when I think about investing for my future, I think about opportunities. I really do. I always ask myself, if someone, let's say Pam, Pam is my PA, she's behind the camera right now. If she came to me and said, Mapalo, I have an amazing opportunity that can make you or us lots of money. And if you put in this much, and I do my studies first, I know I'm not just going to say, okay, Pam said this, I do my feasibility study, I research, and I make sure that it's a sound, viable investment. And I have money for it. I can take that opportunity. But if you don't have any savings, if you don't have any investments whatsoever, then you miss an opportunity of a lifetime to actually become a multi-millionaire. So for me, I think we should kind of interrogate how we see money, how we see saving and investing for our future, because oftentimes we associate it with, oh goodness, what if something bad happens? Then we cannot really marry the two. But if you think about opportunity, then you feel excited about it and you actually want to put your money away. So think about it that way. So invest, save and invest for your future. The fifth one, plan for retirement. I cannot say this enough. I know retirement is one of those subjects, one of those topics also that sound boring, because I cannot see myself as a 65-year-old. Come on, me, young, hot mama, 2 boys, sexy wife, all of those wonderful things. Friend, I'm young and I'm living my life right now the best way I know how. And now you're telling me to think about retirement, something that is 30, 40 years away. It doesn't seem, I cannot marry the two, I cannot relate, but it is going to happen. That's the thing. You are going to retire one day. And unfortunately, there are two things. Either you're going to die or you're going to retire. So I'd rather take my chances that, God, I do want to live a much longer life to see my kids grow up. I want to experience life to its fullest. So when I do retire, as much as now I'm young, sexy mama, I'm doing my thing, enjoying myself, I still want to do that as an older woman. I don't want to depend on my kids. That's what planning for retirement means, that I'm not going to depend on my kids, that I'm not going to depend on the government, that I don't have to keep on working, even when my body's just saying, girl, you partied too hard in your younger years. Whatever that case might be for you, it just means that today I'm taking care of my future. So plan for retirement. Have a retirement annuity. Have a tax-free savings account that can supplement your retirement. Think about the lifestyle that you want to live when you're retired. I think that's what's missing. Don't think about it so much in numbers or what you need, and just think about the type of lifestyle that you want. For me, for retirement, I want to travel. I want to travel with my siblings. I want to explore. I want to be adventurous as I am right now. And I don't want money to be an issue. And certainly, I do not want to depend on my kids, on my 2 boys. They're too precious. They don't deserve that. Not from me. Okay? Then, the 6th one. You need to get personal insurance. You need to get insurance. When it comes to insurance, people always have insurance for their homes. They'll have home insurance for their property, like everything inside their home. They'll have insurance for that, but they won't have insurance for themselves. And who in this equation is the asset? Not the things that you own. You are the asset, because without you earning an income, you cannot have those things. You cannot have the car. You cannot have the house. So you need to make sure that you insure yourself. And what am I talking about? Yes, life cover for sure. We're all going to pass away at some point, right? So you need to make sure that you have life insurance to pay off your home so that your kids can still have a roof over their heads. Hopefully, you need to have income protection so that if you are injured, if there's something that's happened to you and you cannot earn an income for a couple of months, you can still pay your bills. One thing about bills is that they keep on coming. Whether you're sick or healthy, they don't care. They don't say, oh, shame, Pam, you're sick, so we're gonna stop, we're gonna pause. It does not happen, right? So you need to make sure that you have insurance. So this is life insurance, income protection. For me, that's the most important one. You need to have disability, and you need to have trade disease, because most of us, most young people, regardless of age right now, people are getting heart attacks, people are getting all sorts of cancers, all sorts of things. So you need to make sure that you cover all of those things. And these things are actually not expensive. That's a topic for another day, about the cost of these things. Then the last one I'm going to end off, is that you shall take an interest in your finances. And I think for me, this is, again, one of the most important things. I will ask you a question right now. Actually, Pam, what is the most popular thing playing on TV? I don't watch TV.
Squid Games.
Squid Games. Hey, even my hubby has watched it. Even my friends have watched it. Squid Games. People know the characters. People know, people are interested in what's going to happen next. And yet to ask the very same person about their finances, they're here, So you need to take an interest in your finances just as much as you take an interest in anything else. And the thing about taking an interest in your own finances is that they improve over time. And yet you watch Squid Games. What improves in your life? Tell me. You've been entertained for sure. I mean, I'm a believer in relaxation, in resting. I think that's very important. But what have you gained? What else have you gained other than maybe relaxation and the anxiety of what's going to happen next? Absolutely nothing. So you need to take an interest in your own finances, because the more interest you have, the more your finances will improve. And that I can definitely guarantee you. Once you do all of these things, but most importantly, take an interest in your finances. Look at your finances on a regular basis. Talk to your spouse about your finances. With your family, discuss these things if you can. I know family situations are different. That I know for sure. I am an adult. I understand these things. But whatever you can do. If people around you don't want to be part of that, do it for yourself, not for anyone else. And I guarantee you, your finances will improve. So those are the 7 financial commandments that you should definitely take a look at and try and practice by all means. Because finances are such a big part of our lives that if you don't, you'll be in trouble, right? You'll be stressed out, you'll have anxiety. But if you do, and even if a bad situation happens, yes, it will still be stressful, but not as stressful as if you were not interested or you were not partaking in your own finances and making sure that your finances are all right. So having said that, I hope you pick 1 or 2 or even 3, even one at a time, for you to go through and say, okay, I'm going to focus on this one financial commandment right now. And you move down the list, or can move from bottom all the way up. I don't care, as long as you do something. So thank you so much for watching this. Like I said, Pam is here, and Pam every week is like, Mapalo, you said you're going to do a video, and she is behind my back, and I will be doing more videos. Thank you so much for watching. If you like the video, please remember to subscribe and like, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now.